Okay guys, now we continue the second part of the class. We mentioned in the Zoom session that early TMSs or early terminology management systems gave the user or the translator limited options to save terminology inside the term base of the old TMSs. Now we're going to move and talk about the things that we can store inside a term record. Like every term has a record. It's like a sigil where we can also include information related to each term. Modern TMSs are pretty flexible. We can store so many things related to the term in the term record. For example, we can store the term itself, its translation, subject field, definition to the term, and the context where the term occurs in a specific context. So let's see how a term record would look like. This is a term record. We have the term itself, and we also have other information that we can save for a term. It's like your page in the university system. So we have the term here, we have the language, we have the status, and we have other types of information where we can specify maybe the part of speech, a gender, number, etc., etc. So formerly, users were required to choose from a predefined set of fields. For example, they can add subject field to the term record. For example, when we have a certain term that has a specific meaning in a specific domain, we have to insert a subject field in the term record. An example is the word, for example, customs. Customs in airport or technical translation could mean dramatic, but if we are talking in general sense, in the general sense, it means adat wa taqalid. So subject field is a place where you specify the subject field or the domain of the term. We also have definition, the context. We can insert a context to the term. For example, we can have a sentence where the term occurs. We also have a source for the context as well. I'm going to show you this in the term record. Let's see. For example, we have الطرف الأول, it's Arabi, it's approved, it's not a new term because we have it already in the language. Is it a preferred term? Is it a forbidden term? For example, sometimes we have terms that we do not use in certain locales. For example, the translation of milk into laban, we can do it in Egypt but not in Jordan. Is it case sensitive? This thing does not apply to Arabic because we don't have capital letters in Arabic. Usage, when do we use it? Part of speech, is it a noun, adjective, or what? Gender. الطرف الأول is always masculine because we say يحق للطرف الأول أن يقوم مش أن تقوم. Number, it is singular. يحق له وليس لهم. Note, do we have any note on the طرف الأول as a term? Do we have shorter translation to the term? Do we have, is it a full form? Yes, it is a full form. Full form is the whole word. For example, we have United Nations, this is a full form, and UN is the abbreviation of the word. In Arabic, we don't usually specify this. Domain, what is the domain? We usually have domains in the project, and we have a drop down menu here where you can specify the domain. It is legal. We have also definition. What's الطرف الأول? For example, we can define it as أحد الأطراف في العقد. Do we have a note? Do we have an URL? For example, for the definition, URL is the link where you can specify maybe the meaning of الطرف الأول. So basically you specify information that can be helpful to the translator, and then you save your term record. As we mentioned in the definition of TMS, we mentioned that there are three main functions to a TMS. The first one is to store information. The second one is to retrieve information, and the last one is to manage, right? Let's go and check them one by one. So TMSs are used as places, repositories for consolidating and storing terminological information for use in future translation projects. So we use them in future translation projects. We basically store information in order to use them in our projects. Nowadays, the amount of information that can be stored in a term record is to an extent unlimited. We can store so many things in a term record. However, in the past it was very limited. The second function is retrieval. We can retrieve information from a term record using different methods. Retrieve واللي هو استعادة البيانات يعني search inside the Termbase. For example, we can do what we call an exact match search, which is a search technique that consists of a lookup to retrieve the same exact word. Let me show you this. For example, if I want to search for طرف أو الطرف الأول, we have الطرف الأول as and as an exact match. So it lists the term as an exact match, so it matches it exactly. The second type of search is a wildcard search, where we can search for a word that looks like this, or the wildcard itself is a character such as an asterisk, and that can be used to replace any other character or string of characters. يعني إذا بدي أنا أدور على كلمة cheese cake, cupcake, fruit cake, pancake ب one search query، تمام، بكتب نجمة وبعدين كيك، بمعنى يعني basically هذا اللي راح يصير. يعني أنا إذا بدي cupcake, pancake or whatever يعني بعدين كيك بحط نجمة. So if I want to search for any type of cake in my database, I just type star, which means أعطيني أي إشي شو ما كان قبل ولكن بدي نهايته تكون كيك، فبيعطيني كل أنواع الكيك الموجودة عندي بالترم بيس. طيب نفس الإكزامبل خلينا نشوف مثلا عندي بدي أدور على كلمة for example ألف لام التعريف مثلا، بدي كل الكلمات تبلش بأل التعريف، بكتب أل التعريف بعدين ستار، يعني أعطيني كل الكلمات بتبلش بأل التعريف. الحق، التعاقدي، الملكية، المالكون، الملكية، العقار، الطرف. This is what we call a wildcard search. We have a third type of search, which is fuzzy matching. It retrieves the term record that are similar to the requested search pattern, but that do not match it exactly. So, for example, we have fuzzy match مثلا كلمة desk وديسك. هذا السيرش يا جماعة بيكون كثير كويس whenever we have spelling variation. يعني بيكون عندك مثلا color بالبريتش بتنكتب OUR، بالأمريكان OR. لما تعمل سيرش بيطلع لك الكلمات اللي بتشبهها، تمام، لكلمة color سواء كانت بريتش أو أمريكان أو أي كلمات قريبة من السبيلينج تبعها. هذا اسمه الفuzzy match. طيب هلا we are going to move and talk about an important function in terminology management systems, which is called active terminology recognition and pre-translation. So this is basically another feature offered by some TMSs اللي هي active terminology recognition. This feature is essentially a type of automatic dictionary. How does it work? هلا it works as follows. As the translator moves through the text, the terminology recognition component compares the items in the source text against the contents of the term base, and if a match is found, the term record in question is displayed for the user to consult. هلا, this is what we did in the previous class on Zoom. Let's see. Back to my cut tool. So again, This is the place where active terminology recognition component displays the suggested terms. So basically while you are translating the text, active terminology component اللي هو برمجي جوات الكاد tool, it compares whatever you have here terms طبعا with the database that you have بالتيرم بيس تبعك. مش احنا خزنا تيرمات بالتيرم بيس تبعنا وربطناها بالكاد تول، هذا اكيد حنتعلم ان شاء الله later on. So active terminology management, it compares every single word from this sentence تمام to the terms that you have inside the term base, and if you have matches they are displayed in this part. For example, first party is stored in my term base as الطرف الأول undertakes يتعهد grant يضمن، الطرف الثاني second party etc etc. طيب هلا أيها الشعب العظيم we are moving to talk about terminology extraction. Terminology extraction is the way by which we can extract terms. يعني أنا عم بترجم نص for example من اللغة العربية للغة الإنجليزية، بدي أطلع التيرمز اللي جوات النص وأحطهم بالتيرم بيس مشان يصير يعطيني معانيهم. But before we talk about this process, let's talk about translation project workflow. هلا any translation project in the world طبعا in big companies it starts with preparing the source text. يعني إذا كان source text hard copy لازم نحوله ل machine readable using what we call OCR أو voice recognition. بعد هيك نبعث the text to a terminologist. The terminologist does what we call term extraction. The terminologist goes over the source text and extract terms, and then they send it to another terminologist who knows both languages, and the other terminologist translates the source terms into the target language. In most cases, terminologists are bilinguals and they retrieve terms, they also translate them in the target language. And in the fourth stage, we have document translation, of course. So look, we have at least two steps before we translate document, which are number one, preparing the document, OCRing it maybe, converting it into a digital form, and after that we have term translation and building a term base, and lastly, we start by translating and producing the target text. Now we are going to talk about term extraction phase, this one. Now imagine that you have 4,000 pages, a project that contains 4,000 pages. How are you going to extract terms? If you do it manually, it's going to take so long to do this. So there is a kind of software that is used to extract terms. It is what we call extraction tools, which is another component in TMSs. It is also called or known as term recognition or term identification tools. It is important. Why? Because it helps translators build a term base more quickly. However, the initial extraction attempt is performed by computer. The resulting list of candidates must be verified by a human. So this is what we call semi-automatic rather than fully automatic term extraction. Yani basically, we have a term base. Let me show it to you in our system. So this is my source text, for example, okay, which is a sale contract. I click on it and I then go to tools and I ask it to extract terms. Of course, if you have a short text, you don't have to do this. I mean, you can do it manually. It's more accurate, of course. But if you have a very big project, it's easier to use what we call extract terms function in CAD tools. هلا حيطلع لي هو التيرمز اللي بيتوقع السيستم انهم terms. So it's going to retrieve or extract term candidates. هلا they are not all good terms and they are not all terms, they are candidates. يعني مرشح انه يكون term, and then you decide as a terminologist in whether it's a term or not. Party is a term. Resort والله هنا could be a term. Second أكيد مش term. But second party is a term and that is not a term. طبعا هلا طلعنا هو 3 terms. We have only 3 terms because we have a very short text. تمام. If it's a longer text, it would list more term candidates. You have to go over them, verify them, and then you translate the terms into the target language. Cool. So now we have a very simple, short term base. So this is what we call terminology extraction tool. It basically lists a list of candidates. It provides you with a list of candidates where you have to go and verify and translate. Other features in TMSs are: number one, we can import and export our term base. For example, if I have a term base inside my system, I can export it and give it to a friend who can use it in his project. I can also import his term base. For example, if one of the students or one of our colleagues have a term base that contains 1,000 legal terms, I can use it in my legal translation projects easily. Another function is that we can print out the content of a term base in a user-friendly glossary format. We can print the term base in a dictionary format where we can have a dictionary like a document or a book, for example. It basically lists the terms that start with A together and then B together, etc., etc. What are the benefits and drawbacks of TMSs? Of course, drawbacks. And of course, it is good because it speeds up the translation process. It improves the quality of your translation. It changes the nature of the task of the translator, of course. The translator now has a set of terms that he has to follow or she has to follow in her translation or to use in her translation. So the translator is not free anymore to use whatever terms he believes that would suit the situation or the text. Another good thing about the term-based systems اللي هم shareability of information. You can share the terms and the terminology list that you have with colleagues. And the last one is economic aspect. Sometimes managing terminology is expensive on the one hand, but when you manage them, you can use them in future translation projects, so it will reduce the amount of money that you're going to pay for maybe reviewers to produce better translation. These are the main things that I want you guys to comprehend when it comes to terminology management systems. Please watch the video and let me know if you have any questions. We are going to meet inshallah very soon, either online or in a forum. Bye bye.